what happens after you go viral? What happens now that you have a rhythm and you're actually growing and you want to monetize traffic?
Going viral is formulaic. It's not luck. It can happen.
We go into doing social media, and it's like a lot more work than we ever expected.
Yeah.
It's a lot more involvement.
Welcome, everybody, to another episode of Resilient Riches. I'm going to teach you one thing today that you're not going to notice anywhere else. I'm going to teach you how to build something from nothing using social media and building a massive platform. Today, we brought in Travis, who literally has done this for the Black Lives Matter movement, went on Oprah talking about his viral content videos, worked at the Leonardo DiCaprio Foundation, the UN, and all the major institutions creating virality. But he has one thing that's very different. He fits the Resilient Riches brand. He fits people that have done it from zero and grew successfully. He didn't read a book. He just tweaked it and played with it and figured it out and made it happen. And it completely changed his life and the millions and millions of impressions and views that people have seen around the world. So celebrities are using him because they can't go as viral as he can. And all these different organizations are using him. So I thought, let's bring him in today to teach you how to take your business and your personal life to the next stages using branding and using social media. So it's going to be a great episode. Stick to the end. We're going to talk about 5 or 6 different tips that you can start today to actually change the game of your strategy for your social media and your branding.
Awesome. Thank you so much. I really appreciate that introduction. I'm super excited to be here. I love not only connecting with people and sharing the information, but most importantly, I feel like I want to reach the world. I feel like the greatest way to inspire people is to reach the world. And to me, doing it through media is the best way to do it. So I'm happy to be here to share my story. One slight correction. I didn't work with Black Lives Matter. We just created some extremely viral videos during that time. But
that's less controversial.
But yeah.
But no, I understand what you're saying. But it's what's amazing is that you were able to take something that nobody else was doing as like a new frontier and able to build through it. So can you walk me through that specific process and how that actually happened and what you learned along the way?
So originally, I remember, Princey, who's he's a megastar now, but at the time wasn't. He lived in a neighborhood that was close to mine, and he was a what they call a conscious rapper. A conscious rapper is a rapper that they talk about positive stuff, basically. And he had a movement called Make Smart Cool. SMART actually was an acronym for sophisticating minds and revolutionizing thought. So it was a movement in order to kind of like create a counterculture to what we thought was a dumbing down of the culture. So that was initially how I met Princey. And he had this singular mindset that of how to go viral. I remember when I used to talk to him a lot of times about, hey, listen, man, we need to go to these clubs. We need to go to these arenas. We need to get you in front of people performing. And he used to always say, why should I perform in front of 500 people when I could do a video and get it in front of 500,000 people? And it was that mindset that kind of like started the journey. So we used to always study all the different videos that would go viral at the time. And I remember like when you like researched it, they would always say stuff like, oh, the video needs to be under 2 minutes. You need to have like a cat in the video. You need to say this at the beginning. Like it was all type of crazy stuff that people used to say. So we used to take all of the things that people used to say and try to interject it. And even though it didn't necessarily work for us at the time, what we did figure out was it is formulaic. And this is the thing, going viral is formulaic. It's not luck. It can happen, but by luck. Unfortunately, I know many of you all probably know when you spend a lot of money on stuff you have no idea what you're doing, you're going to waste a lot of money. So, which we did, right? We wasted a lot of money and time trying to figure this out.
That's what happened.
Figuring this out is what allowed us in 2014 to finally, what I like to call break the code. And when we cracked that code to go viral, we just didn't stop. Like we were getting videos that was getting hundreds of millions of views, and we wouldn't stop. It just from 2014 that point forward, it wouldn't stop. So that's how we got started, man.
Yeah, but so you took this. How did you monetize? I mean, obviously he's doing rapping. He's doing rapping.
Well,
my assumption.
it became spoken word. It's spoken word is what he's doing now, and so he's not really rapping. He kind of like stopped rapping and turned specifically into spoken word, like motivational pieces.
What the hell spoken? What? Oh, okay, fine. All right, that's it. Yeah, I wish. Yeah, I've never heard of spoken word. It's probably something beyond me. So he's you guys are building this up, and then what did you do specific? Like, what is the formula? Can you break down the actual formula?
The formula to go viral or to monetize? Which one you're asking?
Let's do formula to go viral, because I think that's what people are really struggling for. They want to get into social media. They want to just build their brands, and it's amazing. And they're like, well, I did the exact same video, and that person did 100,000 views, and I only got 100 views.
Yeah,
which
so there's so many different things to take into consideration. So first of all, the platform that you're on, you want to pay attention to a few different things. The first thing you want to figure out is, what is your demographic? Like, who's your demographic? Like, it's important to know, for example, that like 80% of America is in like Central and Eastern time. Only 20% is in like the other two time zones. So like, this is like, you got to know this type of stuff, right? And then like, who is the demographic? Like, is your demographic on the East Coast? Is it on the West Coast? Like what times, what platforms are they on the most? Are they on Instagram? Are they on LinkedIn? Are they on YouTube? What's the platform? And then you have to know, like, okay, well, how do they like to receive their information? So you look at it like, hey, let's say it doesn't really matter. Let's say you're a father and you want to teach kids on, how to be a teenager or something like that, right? Then what you want to do is you want to look at the platform that demographic is mainly on. And then you want to look at, okay, what is the thing that I have to teach these people? And then who are those influencers that are out there that are teaching something that is similar to what you're teaching? So then you can look at the different tools and strategies they're using to reach their demographic. And then you literally take those strategies and then superimpose it on yours. So if let's just say TikTok as an example. Let's say it's TikTok is where your demographic is at. And then you see what these influencers that are actually impacting those people, you see what they're doing. They might be, you might see that your demographic is online mainly at 11 o'clock. You might see that they're mainly online on Tuesdays. So Tuesdays at 11 o'clock is when you want to release your video, right? And then you want to pay attention to the most hot button topics that they like to hear about. You might say, hey, I want to teach them about toothpaste. Well, if they don't want to hear about toothpaste, you want to see what they want to hear about first. If they want to hear, something more specific about what's happening in school, then what you want to do is you talk to them specifically about something in school. And then when you get their attention, you can make the video about toothpaste. So you get the.
So wait, are you saying do two separate videos, or do one video, and in the video you're going, well, this is what you're going to learn about at school, but don't forget, you also have to brush your teeth.
So actually what I'm saying is you want to get the attention. So, okay. So if you really want to talk about anything that you want to talk about to whatever your audience is, the audience needs to know you care about them first. So you actually have to build the audience first. And once you build the audience, then you can talk about whatever you want. So you build the audience based upon your knowledge and expertise, but based upon what they want to hear. And then after you start talking about the things that they want to hear, and you've built that trust, what I like to call the know, like, and trust factor. Once you build that know, like, and trust factor, then you can talk about whatever you want. So we're talking about months later now. So yeah, it's going to take you a few months to build that trust up.
Yeah. So yeah, of course you have to, but you can't, and then you'll talk about like the specific thing that you're trying to sell. And we say it to people all the time. We're like, we're not beholden to any advertisers. We are working directly for you. The advice that we're giving, we're funding it ourselves. There's no ads here. There's nothing there. Like, we're just giving you direct information, which is really, I find that much more authentic than like I'm trying to sell you Tylenol, or like trying to sell you like the new AG1, which I did find out not the best product in the world, the AG1 thing in the world. I was told it was not. I've actually switched out of AG1 to a different brand, but So someone you build this know, like, and trust. Okay, does it require now somebody who's trying to build up their social media? Does it require them to invest a lot of money into this?
It doesn't require a lot of money to build this up. Nowadays, you can literally just use your phone if you really want to do it. But here's where the problem comes in at, right? So the problem comes in at if you don't have a lot of time to create content. If you do not have a lot of time to create content, then you're going to need some capital, because you're going to need to hire people that's going to be to manage your social media. But if you do have a lot of time and then no capital, then you can do this stuff yourself. You could just use your phone to make the majority of the edits and record the footage. What you're going to need to do is master one. Don't master all the platforms. Just master one platform. It doesn't matter who.
I think that's crucial. Can you speak about why you would say that? Go deep. I just want to go deeper into that point. Why is it important to master one platform?
So first of all, where you're choosing where your people are at is going to be the premier thing. But if you don't know one platform, you're definitely not going to know 5 platforms. The problem with wanting to know 5 platforms is you're relying on luck. You're relying on, hey, listen, if I just post on 5 platforms, maybe one of them will go viral. No. Any expert would tell you on anything, right? It's kind of like what Bruce Lee said. I don't fear the man that knows 100, kicks. I fear the man that knows 1 kick and has practiced that 1,000 times. You know what I'm saying? Because if you take that one platform and you master that one platform and you build your audience, you have enough velocity to where now when you post on these other platforms, people are going to want to see you. You see what I'm saying? Versus you're posting on all these platforms, you've mastered none of them, and nobody's paying attention to your stuff. You figure out everything it is to know about one platform, you master that platform, and then once you master that platform and you're able to grow, then you can post on whatever platform you want because now you have an audience.
Gotcha. So let's talk about like LinkedIn for a second. Is that LinkedIn? Are you an expert in LinkedIn or not?
You can ask me about whatever platform you want.
Let's do 2 platforms just to give a little tangible. Let's talk about like just 5 tips for LinkedIn posting that nobody else has heard of and that allows you to go viral and gain more connections and make actual money off of LinkedIn.
I mean, there's no secret formula to just say, hey, you post, you're just going to go viral. That's not like a real thing, right? The main thing when it comes, and this is any platform, whether it's LinkedIn, Instagram, YouTube, or anything like that, the biggest thing that you want to do if you genuinely want to go viral, if you genuinely want to build a community, is you have to niche down on what you specifically know that somebody else doesn't know. The problem is people want to talk about what everybody else knows or whatever the case may be. What you need to figure out is, okay, well, if you go to this popular person, let's say it's Tony Robbins, and Tony Robbins is talking about some particular thing. The first thing you want to do is you want to go to that comment section. You go to that comment section and see what is the theme behind what people are trying to find more information about, or what they're criticizing, or what they don't agree with, or something that is triggering them on that particular thing. Because now you know 2 things from this post. Number 1, you know what people care about. And number 2, you know what's working. And you have your information in your head about that. And so you literally just take what's already popular and what people already care about, and then you post about that. That right there, that one key difference is better than all the strategies in the world. I don't care if you post at the right time. I don't care if you post on the right day. I don't care if you have a bunch of random spam people liking your stuff in order to get noticed more. If you're not actually posting valuable content, shareable content that people care about, nothing else matters.
Very interesting. So it's find the expert. It's really just the same thing as anything in financial services. What we do is we listen to economists, we listen to this person, we listen to financial strategies, you listen to lawyers, you're listening to all those people, and then you're just taking that information and explaining it to your clients, and your clients are like, oh my God, this guy's a genius. But it's really, you're just taking the other person's information. It makes a lot of sense, and it really helps. So let's talk about, all right, so that's how you're going to build. So everyone is going to focus on one platform. I don't care if it's LinkedIn, YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, Twitch, or find the other anti-Semitic ones on the side. There's plenty of those too. But or TikTok also. Then you're going to find you're going to find influencers that are crushing it, and then you're just going to copy their videos right away. So that's what we're going to do. That's the thing that we're going to do first. As I'm going to thought. So what I want everyone to do is understand exactly what Travis is saying. First, find a platform that you like and find a platform that actually has your target audience. For us, it's LinkedIn. We really like LinkedIn. We're very B2B. We work with a lot of accountants, a lot of advisors that refer business, and that's really where we look for. Then we go, all right, what is the best and most viral pieces that's actually working? So now we're going to take the few people who we find really impactful, see what they're posting, and literally just copy it because you know what's actually working, you know what's engaging, and then build from there. Now, what happens after you go viral? What happens now that you have a rhythm and you're actually growing and you want to monetize traffic? Like, what are you doing from that point?
So first off, let me be very, very clear. All right, now this is going to be tough to hear, but this is very important to hear.
Thick skin, don't worry.
This is very important, but it's going to be tough to hear. If your number one motive to get on social media is to monetize, it's going to be much harder for you. Now, I know there's a ton of people that are monetizing on YouTube or whatever social platform. I know there's a ton of people that make a ton of money on social media platforms. However, here's the important piece. If you do not already have a ton of money to pay people that is going to create this audience for you, and you have a very limited budget, okay, and you're trying to go viral in order to make money, what your actual focus should be is connecting with your people, not the money aspect. Only if you have a lot of money already and you want to use the platforms to make more money, fine. You're just going to have to spend a lot of money to do that. That's fine. But if you do not have a lot of money, or if you're, you have a limited budget on what you can do, your main focus should be, how can I connect with my audience? You almost have to look at social media as basically as a customer relations tool, right? How do I connect more with the people that I care about? How do I show them that I care about them? How do I show them that I'm an expert in whatever my field is? Once you get to that level, where they trust you, then you can start selling. One of the biggest issues that I have with some clients that get in with the initial concept of just wanting to make money is they're not in for the long haul. They don't stay in for the long haul.
You burn out. It becomes a transactional relationship instead of like a real relationship with an audience. And these are people, we have clients that follow me. I was talking to them last night, just doing a review. They're like, yeah, I love your videos because it's like really good content and I get good information for it. I was like, I didn't even realize you watch it. She's like, no, I watch every video. Like, it's great. And I don't get tons and tons of views. And it's really like you realize what you're actually doing and you're building a relationship with that client that's very deep.
Exactly. And the thing is, if you're not in it for the impact and trying to connect with your people and building those customer relations, like I'm saying, then what happens is 3 months down the line, you're like, hey, I've been spending this money and, I haven't made $1 million. Like, this is a waste of time. You know what I'm saying? It's a waste of time because you were only in it to make money. You're not seeing the ROI when the ROI comes several fold. Like, when we were building what we were doing, all the different people I've worked with, whether we're talking about Jay Shetty, Lewis Howes, Rob Dial, Princey, or any of these, top 100.
I know none of these people. You want to talk about Matisyahu? I know who Matisyahu is.
Yeah, all these guys have top 100 podcasts in the world. So whether we're talking about any one of these guys, right, they all started at a time where they wasn't making any money. And it took them a year or 2 years to build that. Now they're all getting 10, 15, 20, $25 million podcast deals. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So it just requires, for you to know your stuff, to know what your audience wants to hear, to really connect with them, to really want to actually service them. And once you get to that plateau where you're actually building that core audience, then you can start selling. So to me, if you really want to make the most money, that's how you do it.
Gotcha. It's trust. It's really trust in relationships.
Trust.
It's basic. It's basic. It just happens. It's weird. Like even for me, even for me, um, when I'm talking on social media or anything like that, I actually get like a little just to having a camera in front of me makes me a little bit more nervous. And people are like, "Dude, you're really funny," but when you put like a camera or like you're videotaping, like you get a little bit more nervous. On podcasts, I don't have that. That's why I like podcasts so much. But it's very interesting. All right, so can you give us? And my dad's like texting me a million times, like "let me in," and which is known. He's known for his lack of patience, actually. So can you give us just 5 quick pointers, just like quick takeaways that somebody can take and just go like, all right, well, I'm doing this wrong. Like people are trying to level up. So 5 pointers for people who are trying to level up.
Let's say you're starting from zero. You have no following. There's just nothing. You're like, yo, listen, I really want to do this. I really need to, grow on social media. It's a passion of mine. The number one thing I would say you need to do is you really need to know who are the experts in like your field. Like who are the people that are really like in your field, really killing it. Like who's like, oh my gosh, this person is like really doing their stuff, right? You need to figure out who those people are. You need to have at least 5 of these people. Okay. Even if they're not exactly in your niche, you still need to, know these people. Part of this aspect is you need to know, okay, which platform do you want to be on? And then part of that is how do you want to be create content? Do you want to do video content? Do you want to do written content? Do you want to do, audio content? What's the way that you need to figure this out? What's the best way for you to really do that? Number 3, you need to know what is the core, like what does your avatar look like? What is the like the person that needs your service the most? What do they look like? Where are they? What is the industry that they're in? Like, what's their biggest trouble? What is the thing that's keeping them up at night? You need to know what that is. And then, after you figure out which platform, here's a key thing that a lot of people don't do. On Facebook, they have a group for everything. Anything that you do, there's a group for. Go on Facebook, and here's what you do. You see what the most popular or trending or viral questions people ask in that group, and you start answering these questions just to see how people respond. And when you start answering the questions in a way that people like, and you start seeing yourself getting a lot of likes and things like that, you take that same question and that same piece of content and create a video for it and put it on whatever your preferred platform is, whether it's TikTok, and because you don't have to do any guesswork at this point. You know exactly what people want to hear and what people are like. You don't have to figure this out. So you know the content that people like and people want to hear because you saw it happen in real time in that Facebook group that you're a part of. So if you do just certain things like that in terms of what people like, what they want to hear, what are the platforms, what are the people who are the people that that's in your niche that you really like, how are they creating content, and then you go directly to something like Facebook and you figure out what people like by answering those questions, you start creating content around there, you're going to start going viral in no time.
That's amazing. Dad, you ready to jump in?
So it's very fascinating for us, Travis. You're certainly in an area that we're not so familiar with. I mean, we're we're pretty involved on LinkedIn. That's like our business model. But one area that really resonated with me and I'm gonna hoping Yair wasn't gonna ask you, so it could save for me, is that you mentioned that you have to find out where your people are and when they're listening. So to me, of course, that's critical. I mean, that's the same problem that we have. Not problem, but that's basic. That's marketing. That's trying to find out where your niche is, where your market is. But how do you do that? Like, how do you know that first of all, you got to decide, of course, what you said. Who is your market? Who is your audience? Who are those people you're trying to talk to? And based on the information that you're able to give that nobody else has. So now I know, okay, I want to meet whatever housewives that are 35 years old that are at home. Like, but how do I figure out then when they're online and how to reach them? Like, how do I do that?
Yeah, so there's many different tools. You can go to Sprout Social, for example. Sprout Social gives amazing breakdowns on the different demographics of people that are online, when they're online, how often they're online. They give demographics such as whether it's a millennial or it's Gen Z or whether it's, Gen X, which platforms they prefer. So Sprout Social is a resource. There's also different, like McKinsey, they've come up with different research or focus groups where they have data that you can research in terms of figuring out, which, you want to do. But at the same time, it also comes down to are you an expert in your industry? I know a lot of people, claim to be an expert in the industry, but they don't really know anything about their own people. You know what I'm saying? It's like, okay, well, if you're an expert in your industry, you should know your audience. So, and I think so for me, whenever I'm working with a client myself specifically, I just go straight to Sprout Social, or I go straight to Instagram, I go straight to Facebook, and I just pull the demographics and the research. Okay, well, they want to talk about this topic. Let me see who are the popular people on this topic. Who are the popular people talking about this? Who is the number one demographic? And I just do my own market research into that. So I would suggest somebody to look up Sprout Social. That's a very useful platform, or McKinsey, or just go directly to the actual platforms themselves and look up the actual influencers that's also in your niche, and look at when do they post in terms of pulling the data. They allow you to do that in terms of seeing, like what are like the biggest demographics of those people, and what are the top categories or the top questions and things that they talk about. Once you're able to pull that data, you're going to have a sizable amount of information to kind of determine, hey, this is where my people are at.
See, because I think, and part of the problem is, and I think this is what we did, not just myself, but I have like a networking group that we want to go social, is that we go from it backwards, like what you were saying. Like let's try this and see how it works. And maybe we're gonna do a hit and miss, and maybe we'll get lucky, and we'll get the
Yeah, luck is not a strategy.
Friday morning is a good time to post. I don't know. How do I know? I think
so it's like this. Yeah, research saves you a ton of money. Like, so for example, one of the things I do, for people before I work with people, we do what you call a social media blueprint. Okay. So let's say you guys say, hey, listen, we want to figure out the social media game. Let's do it. Then you guys would hire me. We do a social media blueprint. This social media blueprint is going to save you a ton of money. It's going to save you a ton of time, because all the different things you're trying to figure out is where my demographics are, what type of videos should I post, how long should those videos be, what time should I post, what days are the best posts, who are the people that, these people pay attention to, what are the topics they want to hear now, what are the viral topics, what's been going viral over the past week, all these different things you want to know. This is all done specifically before, in terms of me working with people, before you post anything, because all of this research keeps you from having to do a year or 2 years or 3 years of trying to figure it out before you get that information. So
let me ask you this. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, go ahead.
So how let's say I want to do this. I want to hire you tomorrow, because to me that makes a lot of sense. It's like instead of putting the cart before the horse, you're going to do it the proper way, and you're going to figure out like how long a video should be. I think sometimes people don't have a long attention span. How much? What are we talking about in terms of cost?
So for the social media blueprint, that's 4K, and what you get is a 6-month blueprint. The 6-month blueprint does several different things. Number one, you're going to have an accurate assessment of, let's just say, because there's going to be some metrics and KPIs that you're going to want to meet. Like, hey, listen, I want to reach 1 million people. Let's just say 1 million people. Hey, I want to reach 1 million people in the next.
What is a KPI?
A key performance indicator. So like, yeah. So you're gonna say, hey, I want to meet 1 million people. Like, okay, you want to reach 1 million people. Then at that point, I have to say, okay, you need to reach 1 million people. You need to get 1,000 emails, in order to, build up your email list. So here's what we're going to do. We're going to structure your plan to where you need to produce this many videos. Let's just say it's 5 videos a week. He needs to produce 5 videos a week. Each video needs to reach at least 10,000 people. And the way we're going to reach each 10,000 people, each one of those videos is we're going to already talk about viral topics. These are the points that people want to hear. And then what we're going to do is I have a secret sauce of what you call distribution. There's another secret sauce too as well. So let's say you have 100 followers, okay? What you do is you find 10 other people with 100 followers that are in the same predicament as you. And you're like, hey, listen, but we do this for you though. You wouldn't have to do this on your own. We do this for you. So okay, hey, listen, we comment every time you post something, and we work with 10 other people that do the same thing. They're in the same boat as you. And I'm like, oh, okay, great. Wait a minute. All right, you have 100 followers. I have 100 followers. You have 100 followers. You got 10 people that do that. We're talking about 10,000 people. You see what I'm saying? So, so in that case, you just went from 100 to 10,000 just by saying, I'm going to like and I'm going to share or I'm going to comment on these people, and you do the same thing for the next month. You just reached 100,000 people in 10 days. You see what I'm saying? Just by doing that simple method. And by the algorithms, the way they work is when they see that people like your stuff and comment on your stuff, then they're going to show your material and your content to more people because they already see people like your stuff. So this is how you increase your reach organically without having to do anything crazy, or anything expensive or anything like that. But this is something that we do again for you in what I just explained. But that's an example on a KPI or something we would do if you wanted to reach 1 million people.
I find it also like that was one of the areas that really blew me away, that Google or whatever, they actually will organically push you forward when they see people like you. So the more you do, the more you're gonna get done. And then it just is like it's a whole little organic kind of thing that it's like a little creepy, to tell you the truth. And then that's when you start seeing you're looking for something, and then there's an ad for it. There's a famous Jewish comedian, Modi, like he'll say, "Oh, I was looking at toilets, and then all of a sudden I got a toilet arrived at my door, ready to be installed."
Yeah.
So I guess that's the way the world is going, especially with the way AI is, of course.
Yeah. And, no, so let me tell you something about that. The AI is so powerful on these social media apps. If you post something on one app and then you post it on another, they already know it because it's on the internet. And so what they do is they literally decrease the distribution that they do for that content because you're not posting on their platform first. You see what I'm saying? So one of the reasons why it's important to maintain that one platform, or another reason why to have like an editor, like kind of like do different edits, or to change the dimensions of each of the content that you post on different apps. Because if you just change the dimensions and you change the video a little bit, then it registers as a new piece of content. Like it won't register as an old one. So that's just a little.
But then the problem is I have it. This is, and I think that everybody gets into it really. My age and my group of whatever. We go into doing social media, and it's like a lot more work than we ever expected. Yeah. It's a lot more involvement. I'm part of another networking group, and they're doing a podcast, and they just say the same thing that we said. It's just a ton of more work. But where is the for someone like ourselves? Like, all right, we're going to meet people, and people will see us, and we'll build the relationship and everything. But we're not going to get monetized from Google or anything like that. That's just. I mean, is that?
No. You definitely can. So that's actually one of the services we provide. So let's just say you wanted to get monetized on Google, right, through the Google AdSense. That's just watch time. So part of the distribution method that I was telling you about earlier, for example, what we do is because a lot of people want to get paid for their content. You want to get paid for every piece of content that you put out.
That would be great.
So what we do is we go through what you call the YouTube partnership program, where it usually takes about 45 days to get you guys monetized. Therefore, you're actually in real time recouping your money, your investment, the ROI, because once you get monetized, you're monetized permanently. And you do it through Google AdSense. You become
Google is paying me. Google is coming out like Google is paying me for
you
my
get paid every
content
month for Google. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Because I reach a certain of distribution and views, etc. That's how it works.
So yeah, it's views. So what happens is you have what you call a CPM, and they basically pay you per view, right? A view is basically somebody that watches your video for at least 3 seconds. It doesn't count as a view until they watch it for at least 3 seconds. But the longer they watch it, the higher your CPM, which is basically means kind of like cost per minute, which is basically how much it costs to put an advertisement on your video that YouTube does. And we become a YouTube partner, they do that. But yeah, so you want to have a higher watch time that's going to give you a higher CPM, especially
so they're
you guys
advertising on my content. You're saying that's
yeah.
what they're doing.
So are you guys familiar with like Graham Stephan? You guys know who he is?
No.
He's like one of the biggest financial guys on YouTube. He's huge on YouTube. And he has one of the highest CPMs on YouTube. He probably gets hundreds of thousands of dollars from YouTube every single month. So he gets a lot. But people in the financial industry, when you are monetized from YouTube, you get some of the highest CPMs. So you guys actually would be getting a nice check once you guys monetize.
All right, Dad. If I leave you on, you're going to ask a million free questions. So I'm gonna call it from this side. But Travis, last questions. How can people find you? How can people get connected with you? Obviously, you have some great information and really like very insightful. And I hope our audience today actually got a lot. I know my dad went a little too in the weeds, but it's okay.
It's fine. Yeah.
That's his style. It's all right. But how can people get in contact with you? Can you give us your shameful plug?
Yeah, just my website, innerlightsocial.com. So the name of my company is Innerlight Media, but the website is innerlightsocial.com. That's INNERSOCIAL. Excuse me, I'm sorry. INNERLIGHTSOCIAL.com.
Got scared with the 10,000, also the 10,000 number.
Yeah, innerlightsocial.com. Or you can just go to, you can email me. I'll give out my email. My email is travis@innerlightsocial.com too as well. If you email me, I'll definitely respond, and we can kind of go from there. Normally what I like to do, just as an FYI, is if a person does not have a social media presence, I do generally do I like to do a content blueprint. That's the thing I'm saying. That's just $4,000. And again, that it saves everybody a ton of time. It's like, even if you don't hire me after that, you know exactly what you need to do in order to grow your platform. You have the strategy, you have the plan, you know what your content is going to look like. You're going to have templates. It's basically a roadmap for you to know exactly what you want to do, instead of spending the next 6 months or 12 months trying to figure out how to grow an audience. You're going to know exactly how to grow an audience. So.
I think that's crucial. So just what I took away from this episode is there's stages to social media branding and social media building, but luck is not a strategy, and finances is not a strategy. And doing this properly is not just is really requiring a lot of careful thought. And if you want to actually build and do it quickly, then you really do have to outsource that piece of your business. And what is the amount of value you would get for a customer? And so you have to factor in your people for those customers. And I think that really matters. And the beauty is, eventually, after 6 months, a year, or 2 years, and you're making great content, you're making money doing your business, you'll actually get paid from the platforms too to receive money from it. So I think it's a really cool strategy, and we really appreciate you coming on and sharing a lot of like insightful tips that people don't normally give. So we really appreciate you, Travis. You're killing it. Keep doing what you're doing, and thanks everybody for listening. We'll see you on the next one.
Appreciate you. Thank you so much.
Securities and investment advisory services offered through Osaic Wealth Incorporated, member at FINRA SIPC. Osaic Wealth Inc. is a separately owned and other entities and or marketing names, products, or services referenced here are independent of Osaic Wealth Inc. The opinions expressed herein are for general information only, as not necessarily the opinions of Osaic Wealth Inc. or its representatives. It is not intended to provide specific advice or recommendation for any individual. Please consult your financial professional, attorney, or tax advisor with regard to your individual situation.